Good evening everyone and welcome to Mystery Monday. Thank you all for joining me tonight. My name is Lucia Byzantine and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. Just a few things before we get started. Firstly, the Bouquet of Hope is up and running and on sale now, so that is our paper pumpkin that we have at the moment, so $37 for 9 cards. The code for that is 158422. Oh, hi guys, there's heaps of you. Hi Jenny, hi Lisa, and hi Paula. How are you all? Hope you're all having a good beginning to your week. So if you'd like the paper pumpkin, you can get online and order that. The other thing that hasn't started yet but will be starting is the new catalogue, so I will get onto that because that's kind of part of what I'm doing tonight. So this is the cover of our new catalogue. Hi Rouse, how are you? This is the cover of our new catalogue, and on the cover some of the new papers they've actually used, and I don't really know what the technique is called, but it's alcohol ink art is what they've used. And I'm going to try and replicate that tonight. Now, I have tried this technique in the past, and can I say I have failed absolutely miserably. Thinking I was doing it all right, and I had watched different YouTube tutorials and I had been using the wrong products. So let me start off with what we need. So firstly, we are using vellum. So this is our Stampin' Up Vellum Cardstock. So that is on page 153 of the catalogue, and it is $17.50, and you actually get 20 sheets. So you do get a fair amount of that, so that's actually quite a good price, and there's a lot that you can do with vellum as well. So you'll be able to use it for heaps of other things. Hello Joan, how are you? But I will be using it for this technique tonight. So there is the vellum. The other thing we do need are the blends. Now we need blends as opposed to, and this is where I've gone wrong in the past, I have used my Stampin' Right markers. So that was my error number one. And my second error is I wasn't using the right isopropyl alcohol as well. So I had been using this Isocol antiseptic rubbing alcohol, which is still the same thing, but apparently it's only got about 65% alcohol in it. What we are needing is as close to 100% as you can get. So this one here, now I'm in Australia, I don't know what products you get elsewhere in the world, but here, this brand here, Diggers, you can actually buy from Big W or Bunnings. I think I paid about $10 for 125 mils, and it does tell me that it contains 100% isopropanol. So like I said, it has been working beautifully for me, so this is definitely what you should be using. And like I said, and definitely the blends, because you do need alcohol markers. The Stampin' Right markers are water-based, I'm pretty sure, but they just, like I said, I tried before and they weren't working. Ah, thank you, Rouse. So yeah, this one is 99%, the other is obviously 70%. So like I said, this one just doesn't cut the mustard at all. We do need to be using this one. So in doing this, you can get different effects as well. So it depends how you do it. So you do need, I've just got a little container just to empty some of this out into, so I'm not using it out from the bottle. I do have a paintbrush as well, okay? I've got just another bit of paper under me because, you know, I'll probably make a mess. The other thing I've got is, now this is an old spritzer. You used to put the Stampin' Right marker in here and you could spritz the colour around. So all it's going to do is blow air. So you could use this, or a straw would be fine as well. Now it depends what look you're going for, because some of the ones I have done, I've not even blown any of the ink around. I have just used it as it is. So I'll show you both anyway as we're going. So I can show you a couple I've done earlier. So with this one here, let's get that out of the way actually. With this one here, I have actually blown it a little bit. So what I have done is I've coloured with a bit of the blends. I've dabbed the isopropyl around, and then with the spritzer I have actually just blown some of that air and just blown the ink around a little bit. Whereas with this one I have just dabbed, and you can see it kind of gives you a more bubbly effect, I suppose it'd be what you would call it. Whereas I think with this other one you can get more veins in it. So what we might do is we might just get started so that you can see what I'm talking about. So I've only just got some little bits just so that we're not I'm not boring you with a whole large piece. I have got my blends in dark cherry cobbler, and I have got dark pumpkin pie as well. So I'm just going to empty some of this out into my little dish. Now you don't need a huge amount, so just a little bit is fine. So now I have found this one here is really smelly, so make sure whereas the Diggers one I haven't found quite, it's not as many fumes or anything come off it, but do make sure you're in a well ventilated area as well when you're doing it, because it can get a little smelly, I must admit. Okay, so now this is really random. Now with this one I will use the spritzer just to blow a bit of air. So what I'm going to do is just dunk my brush in the isopropyl. And then you can just blow it wherever you'd like it to go. Now your brush will get a little bit, now it doesn't take too long to dry as well because it is alcohol based. So again, I'm just going to mix that up so then it's not too bright red. So I am just dabbing the liquid so it is all over. And can you see how it is? It does get quite veiny this way. And like I said, the next way I will show you where we're not using the spritzer as well. But you can get some absolutely amazing effects. With this as well. So kind of like it is truly random. It depends where you want things to go. Look, do you know what? I don't think you really have much choice in it. It's kind of where it all kind of ends up anyway, to be quite honest. Like I said, just dabbing. Like I said, you don't even really have to, like I'm just going to leave that one as it is. I'm not even going to blow that around everywhere. No, I've just used the same bowl and done both colours in it because it doesn't seem to be, I mean, these colours are probably the biggest difference in colours that I would have because you've got the orange and the yellow. And like I said, it's not really affecting it too much, and I kind of mix it in the bowl anyway. It probably would be better with separate bowls, I'm sure. but you can kind of blow it into the other colour as well. A little bit, and I'll just finish off with a bit of pumpkin pie in this corner. And again, like I said, being that it's alcohol, it does dry quite quickly. So I don't know whether you can see, but the first colours that we've used, the first blotchy bits, have already dried. And the last one's still got a little bit to go. So I'll leave that aside so it can dry. But I will show you again, but this time I will use another 2 colours. So this time I will use light granny apple green. I might use the dark actually. Thank you. Browse. Look, like I said, I'll show you some cards I've made before as well, because I've actually made up quite a few with different things, other samples. So I've got dark Bermuda Bay and I've got dark granny apple green this time in the blends, okay? So, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to turn this scrap bit over just so that you don't see the other colours under it quite so much. And again, like I said, I'm still using the same isopropyl, even though I do have a little bit of red in there, and we'll see if it does make a difference. I will change it and get another bowl, but I think we'll be pretty right, to be honest. So this one I'm just going to dab more, so I will get kind of gives like a little grapey look. Like I said, I'm not going to blow this one around. I'm just going to leave it as it comes. Yeah, I have been dabbing from the outside. Now, I don't know whether that makes a difference. And let's have a look, because this time I can go from the middle and we'll see what happens. I don't know why I've gone from the outside first. I think that's probably just what I have seen others do. But you know what? I don't think it matters, because that's going from the middle and that's still giving you a similar effect. Now, you're not getting a huge difference in colour. I think I'm probably using more liquid than I was before. So I'm just going to tone down the isopropyl this time and see how we go, and see if I get a more bubbly effect. So I'll get a little bit on there, but we'll try and like I said, it is just a matter of playing and seeing what you get with it. So what I'm doing this time is laying down each colour separately. You can, if you want to as well, just colour in the whole piece of vellum. And that still works as well. And then go over it with the isopropyl. So even if, it does look a bit like scales, doesn't it? So even if the blends dry a bit, the isopropyl will still separate it once you actually dab it on. Hi Deborah, how are you? Glad that you were able to join us. So I'm just having a little bit of a play. We were talking about, I had started and I was going from the outside, whereas now I'm dabbing sort of all over the place. I really am going quite randomly, and it's still working fine. So just keep on building it up. And it is fun because the colour combinations that you can use are limitless. Well, no, they're not limitless. It's limited to how many blends you've got. So I must admit, much to John's dismay, I'm sure there will be some more blends on my next order, because I am lacking in colours, I've decided. So I will have to add to that, unfortunately. Or fortunately. Sorry, I've just dropped the lid. This is quite scaly looking, isn't it? I'll have to show you another one that I've done in a moment because it was actually quite grape-like, I must admit, and it was in greens as well, so it did, or it does, look like grapes. And so the other thing that you can also do is, like, if you just put a big dab, it's going to spread out even further as well. So like I said, the more you play with it, the more you can see what it does. So I'll do another big dab in this as well, just so that you can see that it does actually spread a fair bit too. So then you just get bigger bubbles then. Yeah, it's kind of a bit bubbly looking, I think. Ah, thanks, Lisa. We will have to have a play, I think, if you come round, or if I come round to your place, we can play with some different colours then. So that's kind of that effect. So once you've done this kind of thing, you can actually use this for all sorts of things. So like I said, that's the first bits are already dry, and the other bits are just starting to dry now as well. But let me show you some things I have done. Sorry, I'm just going to get this out of the way so I don't get paint anywhere. So it must have been a few days ago now that I paid. Yeah, I do have a few combinations probably, John, but I do need more, I think. So what I've done with something similar to this one is I've actually cut it with our dies. And just done it in a circle. And just made a card with that one. Then this is another one here. What I found, I will quickly make a card for you as well. What I found to actually glue the vellum down with is I've been using the Tombow glue. And it depends what colours you put it on. So this one I've put on white. This one I have put on cherry cobbler. But then this one I've used Bermuda Bay and I've popped it on the white. And see how I've got really big blobby bits here? And that's because I have just popped the isopropyl down and just let it spread. So like I said, you can get so many different effects. And there's another one. And these are probably getting a little bit veinier as well. So like I said, when you've got a bit of time to play, you can do all sorts of things. And it will never ever be the same. Like, you will always get different effects. So this is cherry cobbler. This is the same combination I used here. And I kind of used the same technique too. So I actually blew this one around a little bit as well. Whereas these three, I have just dabbed. This one over here, I have blown. So, and this was my grapes. Oh, I do think it looks very much like grapes, that one. So this was one of my first ones, which is probably looking a little more like that. And doing it just in one colour, like this one here is just the Bermuda Bay. And I think it looks really pretty just in the one colour as well. And that's another one where I've just cut, popped it onto white. And then just cut out a die shape as well. Like I said, there's all, and I'm sure there's so many more things that you could do with it as well. So there's some cards I've made. Now, one that I was playing with this afternoon is this one here. And for this one, I'm pretty sure I used the dark shaded spruce and the dark cherry cobbler, but I'm not sure why, but the cherry cobbler looks more like Merry Merlot. So when I've got my card, I've actually decided that it actually looks better on the Merry Merlot than it did on the cherry cobbler. So what I've done for this one is I've just got a plain white card. I'm going to mount this onto some Merry Merlot, but I will just cut that to size. So I'll just cut that. So it will fit the vellum on it. I'm just going to use quite a large border around that as well. So now I can show you what I've been doing with my glue also. Excuse my beautiful glue stand. I just use an old ribbon roll. So the best way I have found is I do just pop a little bit of glue on the outside and a little bit in the middle, but then I use my flat edge and I kind of spread it out as thinly as you can, trying to get it to the edges as well. Now it will curl up the vellum a little bit, but that's fine because once you stick it down it will go flat again. And like I said, this is kind of the best way of adhering it. That's what I've found at least. Give it a nice amount of pressure. So then I will just adhere this to the card base. And then I've just cut out a couple of little elements out of the well-written dies, which unfortunately are, I think they're even sold out. They're retiring, but I think they've sold out too, sorry. But with this one, I will just pop those there and perhaps a little bird up the top there. Then we'll just dab a few little bits of glue behind this without popping too much on because you don't want it to ooze everywhere. Just pop that down on that side. Probably could have done that in a lighter colour perhaps. Maybe in the white would have looked better actually. Do you know what? I'm quickly going to do one of those in white because I think white is going to look a lot better. Excuse me guys, I'm just going to grab some. White cardstock out of my scraps. 2 seconds. Okay, we'll see if the white looks any better, because I think it will do. Take a pick tool is brilliant here just to get all those little bits out. Yeah, I think I like the white better, it stands out a bit more. So again, if I had have been thinking properly, I would have put my adhesive sheet behind this. That was probably a bit silly, but I will just pop some glue, and like I said, just as long as it's not too blobby and doesn't ooze everywhere, that's fine. Yes, John, I've got scrap paper everywhere, so it's pretty easy to find, really. You know what my room's like. Okay, we're a little bit easy there, but that'll dry clear anyway, so that'll be fine. Oh, and bird. Well, we might just pop the bird on a dimensional as well. So that he stands out just a little bit as well. And there you go, there's another finished card. like I said, it's a great technique. So if you wanted to just have a play, and like I said, the other day I must have done probably about 8 samples and just loved playing with it so much. I'm sure you'll have heaps of fun. Like I said, the Diggers Isopropyl was the better brand that I found, and most of the demonstrators that I have watched have used this brand of isopropyl as well. As long as you've got your paint brush and you've got vellum, that's kind of all you need to start with. So I hope you have heaps of fun playing. I hope I was able to explain it well enough to you and actually show you sort of a couple of different techniques, and I'm sure you could do completely different things as well. That was the other thing I was saying before too, because you can actually lay down. You don't, like I was doing before, just doing one colour. So just to show you that you can do it all at once. And it still does work even this way. And like I said, it's not, you don't have to be exact, you don't have to be precise. So if you're a little messy, doesn't matter too much. Like I said, let's just do a little bit of dabbing all over. And this, doing it this way, it probably blends both the colours in together a little bit more as well. So like I said, every time you do it, you will get a different effect. So if you're trying to make the same card again, I don't think it would work. So again, the bigger blobs of liquid you put down, the bigger splotches you get on it then. Sorry, really technical terminology, I know, sorry. Like I said, I'm sure you will have just as much fun as I have playing with it, because I have really enjoyed this. So then the problem is, or not the problem, but the fun bit is then making up the cards later to use up all these bits and pieces that you've got. So that I had used the dark Bermuda Bay and the dark pumpkin pie as well, and that's another nice combination too. So like I said, all different ways. I don't even think there's a right and a wrong way of actually applying it all. Like I said, as long as you've got the blends and the correct isopropyl, you're fine. You can do sort of whatever you want. So have a lovely evening, guys. I hope your week goes well, and I will see you next Monday. Thank you very much for joining me. Bye.